Witam wszystkich i dziękuję za przybycie. Mam na imię Maciej Capala. Wyjechałem do Nowego Jorku około 11 lat temu, także angielski stał się trochę jakby językiem ojczystym na dzisiaj. Także dzisiaj do Państwa będę mówił po angielsku, ale jeżeli ktoś chce mi wysłać e-maila albo pogadać po przedstawieniu, to możemy pogadać po polsku.
A powiedz, jak oceniasz swój język polski?
9,5.
Na 10. No to bardzo dobrze.
Wiesz co, Maćku, dzisiaj rozmawiałem z Czarkiem i pytałem się go, słuchaj, jak po angielsku się mówi content marketing? A on mówi treść marketingowa. Bo nie, na pewno robię po angielsku dzisiaj, bo tych słów to nie po polsku nie znam.
Tak, ale ta branża, mam wrażenie, lubi w ogóle słownictwo anglojęzyczne, bo jest po prostu często trochę prościej. Matthew Capala, który jest profesorem na New York University, prawda?
Prawda.
Okej, Matthew Capala, proszę, jeszcze raz wielkie brawa. No i zaczynamy.
All right. I'm not going to ask you to stand up. Russ already did it, and I know you guys just had your cup of coffee. You are energized and ready to roll. So, is anybody here from Łódź? From Łódź in Poland? 1, 2, 3, 4. Łódź rocks. Yes, I love you guys. I grew up in Łódź. Do you know this mural here? Who knows it? You sir over there? Where is it? Pomorska Street. My mom lives right next door over there. I took it 3 days ago. I actually came to Poland a little bit earlier and stayed a couple days in Łódź. I think it really explains what I'm trying to say over here, which is bootstrap marketing and credibility and just how to really get influential on the internet, how to get a lot of followers, how to be #1 in Google and so on, and how you really do it without much budget. That's what my presentation is all about today. Do I have a clicker? Yes. So, my presentation will be full of tips, hacks, and tools. And when I teach at NYU, for example, I usually ask students not to take notes, and I give them all the materials beforehand because I think it's a distraction from your learning experience. So take this URL. Right after this presentation, I'm going to go back to my hotel or during the lunch break, and I'm going to upload it on my website. So you'll be able to view this presentation at this URL. So just take a note. So first, I want to talk to you a little bit about myself and what brought me here. As I said, I left Poland about 11 years ago, and I started in New York working in construction. I work at hanging scaffolds, na rusztowaniach. And this is actually a spread that appeared in Polityka magazine at some point. And then I work as a waiter, and then digital marketing, and now I'm a professor and executive, and I have my own businesses. So how did I do it? Actually, it wasn't that easy, to be honest. When I got to business school in New York, I couldn't get a job. There's no way I could get a job. Nobody really wanted to talk to me. I was this guy from Poland with broken English, and I didn't really have much work experience. So what I did, I started learning SEO, I started learning content, I started building ebooks, and I basically created my own businesses overnight because it's not that hard on the internet. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, based on my experience, SEO and content marketing really open up opportunities for me that would have not otherwise existed. When it comes to bootstrap marketing, it's very important to understand that being a bootstrapper doesn't mean that you have no money. Okay, it doesn't mean free. It means relying on your one's resources to do marketing on the internet. And every single time, whether you are a small business owner, entrepreneur, or you work for a big company and you have a big budget, you will have to work within this Venn diagram. You have 3 things to worry about. How much money you have. It's great to have money, right? It's great to have big budget, and you can definitely do a lot of innovative things. But it's also your time and talent. Do you actually have a talent? Can you actually do those things? Do you have time to do them? And how much money do you have to do them? So bootstrapping is really the intersection of time and talent with just a very, very small budget. I talk a lot about the 3 C's of digital marketing, bootstrap marketing, SEO, you call it. I really use those terms interchangeably. So the 3 C's are, first and foremost, content, or treść, tak, Czarku? So here what you have to do is, think about your content strategy. And Gianluca, after me, will be talking about content strategy and inbound marketing. Definitely attend that session. Here we're talking about SEO, how to make that content discoverable. Second, you have to build connections on the internet. I mean, this is really the cornerstone of being successful. If you want content distribution, obviously, if you have big budget, you can buy ads and pay for people to visit your website. If you have no budget, if you are a bootstrapper, you have to build a relationship and you have to network. And, it's about 100 of you here or more. Take advantage of those 2 days in Warsaw, really talk to each other. It's not only exchanging business cards, but really building meaningful relationships that can then translate into a joint venture, business projects, driving people to your blog and so on. And lastly, credibility. Credibility is the end goal. When you think about social media platforms and search engines such as Google, they look at your credibility factors. Like, are you credible? Is a lot of people linking to you? Is your content shared, and so on? And you're not going to get credible if you don't have friends and if you don't have great content that people can link to. The objective is obviously always driving traffic to your website. And I think, just working with so many different businesses in the US and around the world, that conversion funnel, it's often misunderstood. We often try to get somebody to our website and convert that visitor to a transaction, right? We try to get somebody to my website and get that person to buy or call me. And we don't think about building this long-term relationship. And I always try to distinguish 2 definitions, audience and community. And very often, people sort of use them interchangeably as one. So audience is somebody who follows you on Facebook or Twitter, right? That person may never even see your content, may never talk to you, but that's your follower, that's your audience. Community is a more engaged audience member. So this is somebody who actually talks to you. This is somebody who comments on your blog post. This is somebody who knows you. And then you want to grab more information from their community member. You want their email. It becomes a lead. And then the lead becomes a transaction. And it's very important when you approach content marketing from this long kind of conversion funnel perspective. One of the biggest myths and misunderstandings of effective content marketing is that it's all about us. It's all about being a good conversionalist. It's all about, talking about me, I, my business. Here's what I do. Here is, what I do great. It's actually not. It's all about telling stories. It's all about engaging the audience with the right storytelling. Second, it's really not about you. It's about your content, and this is really a groundbreaking sort of thing for businesses to understand, because we all want to talk about ourselves, but people in general, and especially on the internet, they're self-motivated. They have self-interest, so they don't want to listen what you have to tell about yourself. They want to know your experiences, your failures, your success. They want you to share good stories. And lastly, you really always have to take a long view approach to content marketing and social media and SEO for that matter. So all those pieces of content you put out over months and years, they all need to form a cohesive story, and they all need to add value to your long-term objectives. So it's a little bit like building a puzzle, when every piece of puzzle all add up to take you somewhere else. So it's not about that next video you do. It's not about the next infographic. It's not about the next blog post. It's about what's ahead. Ability to see forward, ability to see ahead will make you a winner. And it's crucial, guys. So there are 2 terms in the industry that I guess a lot of people get confused, and especially CEOs and people in businesses and boardrooms around the world. They think content marketing and content strategy is the same thing. So I always use this example to visualize it, and I think content marketing can be compared to baking a cake, right? Or producing a video, or writing a blog post, and anything of that nature. Whereas content strategy and is something that is more about running a bakery. So you have to put somebody in charge. You have to manage your inventory. So how many cakes do I have to bake a week? Which cakes sell best? Do I make best donuts and bread and things like that? How many of them do I really need to make? So this is the content strategy. You need the piece in place to be able to do content marketing well. I always say that content marketing is like a healthy heartbeat. You need this healthy heartbeat. People around the world fail miserably on the internet because they're not taking that kind of ongoing, evergreen, long-term approach. So if you want to succeed on the internet and get your credibility without much investment of dollars or Polish lattes, you need to kind of like figure out how to build this bakery to keep baking and selling those cakes over months and years. And healthy heartbeat is, you have to think about 3 different components of your content marketing strategy. You're always gonna have those big campaigns, those big sort of, let's say, once a month or once every 3 months. You do a big campaign, spend some money, spend a lot of time. Maybe it's a new message, a new branding strategy. In between, you have to do that. I call that macro content, sort of big hits and big impact. You're really gonna spend a lot of time planning for it. Then weekly or bi-weekly, you need micro content. So something that you didn't spend so much time doing, but it also gives you really, really good results. So an infographic could be a good example. And then it will talk about infographics to you today, or a blog post. And then daily, you need to provoke a conversation on social media. You need to respond to tweets, you need to sort of start new conversations, you need to be native to every social media platforms. So I always, when I speak, I give this analogy to, how to get in shape, how to get a six-pack, jak mieć kaloryfer na brzuchu, tak? Ja na dzień dzisiejszy niestety nie mam kaloryfera. I don't have a six-pack. I love drinking beer. I'm not drinking beer as much. But, I know how to do it. I know that I have to go to the gym every day. I know that I have to eat well, and still it's not happening. Because I lack that motivation. I just don't follow those principles. So even though we all know what it takes to get there, to be number 1 on the internet and make millions of dollars, we just don't do it because it's hard. It's hard to go twice a day to the gym, isn't it? But that's the type of mentality and psychology of internet marketer that you need to kind of align with. Here's, again, you have a deck, but here is as a book that I recommend wholeheartedly. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. If you don't want to read the whole book, I did a summary over here, but it really goes back to this sort of jabs leading to the right hook. So when a boxer goes on the ring, a boxer doesn't really kind of like swing right hooks and tries to get that knockout punch the first thing, right? You set up your opponent with a series of jabs to deliver the right hook. And the same you do with content and social media. So, you don't ask people to perform action every time you put something out. You offer value. So you jab them or you give them something. You give, and then you ask. Good strategy is to keep giving for a month before you ask for something. Keep giving something away for 3 months before you ask for something. Don't be the guy or the girl who kind of goes out there and keep asking for something. It's not going to get you as far. Another concept is this concept of compound marketing, and I'm currently work with the company called Did It, which I developed this concept for. And usually when you look at your numbers and your metrics, you'll have this here, this point of diminishing returns. At this point, you keep spending more money, but your numbers are not really growing incrementally up. That's a point where you should, at this point, create what I call a performance gap analysis. Are there places on the internet where you are currently not doing any work? Are there places on the internet where audience converge and looking for you, but you're not showing up? Where are the gaps in your performance? Maybe you maxed out on banners, and maybe you maxed out your presence on Facebook, but she's not on Twitter. So you need to fill those gaps in. And then, the compound marketing really is about connecting all those platforms together. So it's not about being on Facebook and having a website and maybe one more channel. It's about scaling and being pretty much everywhere. But you have to look back at your time, money, and talent to figure out what you can actually do. Once you accomplish that compounded marketing effect, you will see that incremental growth. But it's going to take you at least a year or two to get there. Here is a content strategy that I use, and some of the speakers will talk to you more about that. And I walk you through really quickly over here. But the objective of content strategy is building a bakery, right? Is having this process in place that is scalable, repeatable, and offers you to put a high-quality product to people. Because they're not going to come back to buy again from you or to visit your website again if what you're doing is not amazing. So it always starts with building personas. You always need to understand who is the person you're trying to reach and really perform an exercise. You give that person names. You do as much research as possible. You want to humanize your voice on the internet. You don't want to talk to them like business. You want to talk to them like a person to person. There's no B2C marketing. There's no B2B marketing on the internet. It's only human to human or person to person. So humanize that voice. And the only way to do it is, kind of get in your head or put notes together, give those people names, and talk to them like they're really real people. Then you do content audit, so you have to figure out how much content you already have. If you have a lot of content, you can repurpose that content. You can kind of build on it, as opposed to building new content from scratch. You establish goals and KPIs, and this is crucial when it comes to content marketing and social media. You have to have some goals in place. A learning is not a goal, okay? Again, learning is not a goal. So put some hardcore metrics, numbers around what you're doing. And at some point, it's really crucial to develop an editorial content calendar. So you basically put a spreadsheet together and you know what you're gonna do every Monday. You know what you're gonna do every Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If I want a six-pack and I go to the gym, I know that Mondays I do bicep and legs, and Tuesdays I do chest and whatever, right? The same type of plan, whether it's a diet plan or a workout plan, the same type of plan you have to build for your content marketing strategy. And then you optimize everything and so on. So I want to talk to you a little bit about social media and how to choose the right platforms for your efforts. And some of those you may not have it here in Poland, translated into Polish language, but check them out because they're rocking the world in the US and globally. So obviously it's really hard to build native content for every platform. Even if you're the biggest business in the world, even if you Coca-Cola or McDonald's, it's just not scalable to do that. So you need to pick a couple social media platforms where you try to be native and you try to be, act like a user and really use those platforms with the right strategy. And then the second tier social media platforms would be those where you just try to share content and claim them. So an example may be if you're good with images, right? There's a lot of social media platforms that are very visual. So you may want to be on Instagram. And Czarek told me the other day that Instagram is getting big in Poland, right? So if you want to Instagram and use Instagram, you share images, and it's fresh, and you need content, and you have a strategy for it, you obviously don't need a different strategy for Pinterest or for Imgur, which are kind of very similar social media platform for images, because you can sort of scale and share on those other platforms. So play to your strengths. Very important to understand when you think about social media is that social media platform open or closed? So Facebook is a social media platform that is closed. It's closed to search engines for the most part. And even though you have great content, because it's closed, it's never gonna get like super viral unless you have a lot of fans or you spend a lot of money on Facebook ads. In comparison, YouTube is an open platform. YouTube also has a homepage. And when you see some of those videos that got millions of views from unknown people around the world, from bootstrappers like myself, and you wonder how those videos got so many views, it's because they got on a homepage. and how some of those social media platforms take content that you upload and put on the homepage is due to the algorithms they use. So you have to understand the algorithm they use, and they obviously look at engagement. So if you have a good strategy for YouTube video for that matter, and you prepared and you spend some time and money optimizing it, the chances are that you may get on the homepage. So I pick social media platforms with the homepages and that are open, that I can really get my content perform well. I'm not really on Facebook that much, for example. So a couple quick rapid fire tools and tips to get you started. So first off, when it comes to content, it's not once a week, it's a heartbeat, it's not once a month, it's every day, it's 365 days a week. You need to keep going, you need to keep coming with content. So what I do to get that content going, I crowdsource content. So one of the platforms that I use is Fiberr. Does anybody know who uses Fiberr? 1, 2, check this out, guys. Fiberr is great. Fiverr, I'm sorry. It's a kind of crowd-sourcing platform when you can get easy access to designers and creative around the world who can turn around projects very quickly. So let's say that you need 10 infographics. Let's say that you need a picture for your website. Let's say that you need a voiceover for your video or an audio podcast. You can do it really quickly, and based on my experience, high quality on Fiverr. And I would say the first rule of Fiverr or any other platform like 99 Designs or let's say Elance and many others is that you understand that this is not for people to come up with ideas for you. Right? It's not like, hey, can you do this? And they're just gonna give you great product. You need to be very specific as far as what you want. You need to be the brain, and then the designer is just the executionist. And as you can see over there, it's that people do great stuff for $5 on Fiverr. So for $5, you can get really quality stuff. So this is how you use Fiverr. You go in, you log in, and then you look at categories, and then you have to spend quite some time researching the creators, the designers. Look at their work and understand exactly what you need. And then send them a creative brief. And you can read it yourself, but come up with an idea and try to really translate that idea to that designer with as much information as you can to get the product you want. So I ask for this, for my upcoming ebook, I asked for that illustration. And here's what I got for $5. It was really what I needed. I understand that this was the style, this was the message I was trying to convey. And you can find this illustration in my upcoming ebook, SEO Like I'm 5. And for that upcoming ebook, SEO Like I'm 5, I'm actually offering that ebook for free. It's not going to be free. You can find it on Amazon, on Kindle in about 6 weeks. But if you sign up for my newsletter by the end of the month, the link is over here, you can get it for totally free. I also did a video on Fiverr. So let's say that you are an introvert. Let's say that you are uncomfortable in front of the camera. It's not that you cannot use YouTube. You can get somebody else to do, as long as you have a good idea, you can have somebody else more presentable with a great diction, with the great performance skills to do it for you. So I also use it for videos. If you are a big brand and you want high quality crowdsourced content, you should go to SpringLeap. SpringLeap is a type of a platform that is more expensive, and you can, if you are a big brand, you should look into it. Second, it's visual storytelling on SlideShare. How many of you use SlideShare? Okay, much more. SlideShare is actually one of my favorite platforms to leverage. So SlideShare is social media for decks and presentations for PowerPoint, just like this. I don't even have to ask you how many people know how to use PowerPoint, because you all do. So you don't have to know how to edit a video. You don't have to know how to design an infographic. You can tell a story on a deck, like I'm just doing over here, and I'm gonna put this deck on SlideShare after this presentation. So with the SlideShare, you don't really have much time. All you do is have talent. You already know how to use PowerPoint, and you know how to tell a great story. So check out SlideShare. For me, SlideShare has been very generous. I got about over 200,000 230,000 views on SlideShare over the last 12 months. And I'm not uploading like one deck a week. I upload maybe 6 decks on SlideShare. And some of you may ask, Matt, you got those 200,000 views, but how many leads did you get? How many actual transactions did you get? So you should totally test it. So here's another sort of a resource if you want to know a little bit more about how to use SlideShare effectively. But you have to, the beauty of SlideShare is that your content is embeddable. So you kind of embed that content everywhere, and then you not only get views and engagement from SlideShare, but from anywhere else you want, because that content is fully embeddable. So what I did, one of my previous ebooks, I put this on this deck over here that got 70,000 views. I put a slide like that, and I said, I love helping others achieve success, and you can get this book totally free. And if you I put a QR code and I put a link to a free download, and you can see that out of that 70,000 people, a lot of people actually went ahead and gave me permission to talk to them, gave me their email, because on my deck I included this call to action. So don't be afraid towards the end of your content to include a very clear call to action or offer something of benefit so you can actually measure performance on all those emerging social media platforms. Long-form storytelling on Medium. Really quickly, I'm running out of time, but Medium, who knows Medium over here? Okay, a couple of you. So I love Medium. Medium is amazing. Medium is a blogging platform that is very social media driven. Anybody can write on Medium, and I encourage you to check it out. So on Medium, obviously, when you write, so it's very important on Medium because it's so social to connect your Medium account with Facebook and Twitter, so that all your Facebook friends will be your friends on Medium. And every time you publish content on Medium, a blog post, you get much better distribution on Medium, because if Charek is my Facebook friend and I connected him on Medium, he's gonna get an email when I publish something on Medium. That's pretty good distribution. Medium also has a homepage. Again, the benefits of homepage is when you get on a homepage, that's when things get viral. Lastly, Medium has all those collections. Whatever platform you use, you have to act like a user. You have to, if you want to have fans on social media, you have to be a fan first. And Gianluca will talk to you about that, because he knows this topic very well, right after me. But again, start your own collection. It can be a collection about Polish, digital marketing, for example. And you start building your own small tribe. And that tribe will start growing bigger and bigger. So here is some of the data that I look at on Medium. So Medium is really cool because they not only look for views, but they look at sort of engagement metrics. So how many people actually read your content? How many people recommended it? What's the read ratio? And based on those metrics, Medium decides what's trending hot, what's good on a homepage, and what they're going to be promoting for you to their audience. It's another resource for you. If you download the deck, and if you don't know where to start, you want to become a blogger, monetize your content, this is something that I encourage you to read. Build a tribe on Fiberr. When it comes to content marketing and social media, your objective is not to get it to millions of people at the time, because very often you're going to spend a lot of time and money, and nobody's going to be really engaging with you. So your objective is to build this small tribe of followers that's going to get bigger and bigger. The platform I use for it is Fiberr. So if you don't know Fiberr, check it out. Long story short, it's basically for bloggers. It's a social media platform for bloggers to form thematically relevant tribes and converge together to work together on helping each other promote it. So obviously you need to have your own blog. Blog is very, very important. So you have to connect your RSS feed to platforms like Fiberr. And there are many other platforms like Fiberr. I'm not sure what's hot in Poland right now, but if you were a blogger or a content creator, you need to find those platforms and talk to other people and start sharing their content, invite them in, interview them, start collaborating. So I'm actually top 70 bloggers on Fiberr. And you see, being on Fiberr, it gives me a reach of 40 million because I'm a member of many, many tribes. So again, this is one of the ways to build a tribe and get a bigger reach for your content. And compound, this is the last tip, but it's compounding everything. So if you use those 5 or you use 5 different platforms, it's very important that they're all connected, they all talk to each other. So for example, here's the video I created. So I put this widget on my website, and when you arrive at my website, you see that video, so I get more views. As I get more views, the algorithms or YouTube kick in, and YouTube wants to see people who upload videos who are influential so that they pass the traffic to YouTube. So all of a sudden, that video can be ranked higher on YouTube. But if you only put a video on YouTube and you never optimized it this way, you never compounded the effect of that video or every piece of content, you may not see the results you wanted to expect. Medium gives you the whole widget. Once you become a writer on Medium, you can grab that widget, place on your website, place on your Facebook, and so on. The same with SlideShare deck. Embed those decks wherever you can. Here's my blog, so you can see. I just you need those widgets, you need those calls to action. You need give me your email, follow me on Twitter, and so on. Include your Twitter feed. Include your Facebook widget, and so on. Like, it's very, very important that you start compounding and you start linking those things up. Email is a very important and effective form of marketing, but I sometimes see brands using newsletter and email marketing without even leaving a link, without an email. Right? So you can embed things in the email. You can put, read more. You can, follow me on Twitter. Make sure you do that all the time. It should be a process. It shouldn't be something that is an afterthought. It should be something that you do at the outset. Authorship, Google Plus and Google Authorship is very important. So you need to connect your Google Plus to your authorship so that when I post something, you see that small icon of me on Google. You know what it does? It increases click-through rate by 30%. So let's say that you are number 5 in Google, but nobody else has authorship because nobody else connected it, and you did, and you may actually get a click from position 5 versus the guy who's number 1. Okay, here is the toolbox. So I listed about 50 to 60 free content marketing and SEO tools over here, which you can find at seotoolbox.me. And this is a message for you to just last word. Whoever you are and wherever you do, you need to earn your credibility on the internet through native content and social connections. Thank you very much. You guys have been great. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you. I actually wanted to ask you one more thing, and that's about one of the first graphics that you showed. It would suggest that if you run a fun page, for example, then you should have a big hit and a smaller hit every once in a while, and that you should interact with your audiences. Do you run some fun pages by yourself?
You mean like, okay, yeah, sure. I think...
I would think what would be your big hit? An example.
Yeah, so I think what you're asking is, small hits and kind of small hits, big impact, right? So, I think what you have to do is, as an inbound marketer or content marketer, you need to develop very thick skin. Like, you need to embrace failure as a part of equation. So, in order to get this big hit, and in order to get a lot of fans, it happens sometimes by accident. It happens sometimes because somebody picked something up that you didn't expect. And sometimes the things that I'm planning to be big hits, and I'm working very hard on them, I get nothing out of them. So you're kind of constantly learning and you're constantly experimenting. But again, don't have a mindset that, whatever you do is going to bring you big results. Probably a lot of things you do will give you very small results. But the idea here is those things will compound. So, I'm writing my first book on Amazon right now, and I don't expect that to be, millions of dollars in sales. But I spoke recently with a guy who's making $250,000 a month writing books like that on Amazon, but he wrote 40 books already. So that things compound.
Right. Do you remember a big hit which you didn't think would be a big hit?
You know, I think that SlideShare presentation I showed you. So we don't really like the term personal branding or self-promotion, stuff like that. But I feel like we all want to tell who we are, and it's important for people and your customers to explain to them who we are in a very sort of innovative way. So I use SlideShare for that, and I basically told the story on SlideShare about myself and my experience and what I do, and that proved to be a big hit. And it got me a lot of visibility and credibility on the internet. And I didn't design it to be a big hit. I just wanted to tell people, when they go to my website, as opposed to read and get bored with Matthew Capala is blah blah blah. Just kind of use the deck and enjoy viewing it. So that was a big hit for me.
And Matt, last but not least, will you open a branch of your company here in Poland, in your motherland?
Yeah, talk to me. I'm a businessman.
Okay, there's going to be a lot of time for that. Matt Capala, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.